Have you ever really truly thought about the journey your food takes? I mean, it's pretty wild. It's a trip that starts literally 93 million miles away with our sun and ends up deep inside one of your own cells. Today, that's the journey we're going to follow. So, let's start with something we all know. That feeling, that rumble in your stomach, right? But why? What is your body actually telling you when you feel hungry? The answer is simple. It's screaming for energy. Because even when you're just sitting there doing nothing, your body is an absolute powerhouse of activity. It's constantly building, repairing, and just keeping everything in order. And all of that takes fuel. Okay, so we get energy from our food. Easy enough, right? Well, yeah, but that's not where the story really begins. If you want to understand the full picture, you have to trace that energy all the way back to its original source. And that brings us to part one, the ultimate power plant. Our journey doesn't start on a plate. Nope, it starts inside the planet's very own food factories, organisms that can grab raw energy from the environment and turn it into actual fuel. We call these amazing organisms autotrophs. It literally means self-feeders. Think about green plants, algae, some bacteria. They don't need to go out and eat anything. They are the producers. They are the absolute foundation of pretty much all life on this planet. So how do they pull off this magic trick? Well, their secret weapon is a little process you've probably heard of, photosynthesis. It's how they take super simple ingredients, sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and convert them into stored chemical energy. And it really breaks down into three key steps. First, that green stuff in plants, chlorophyll, soaks up sunlight. Second, that light energy gets converted into chemical energy, and it's actually used to split water molecules apart. And then finally, the plant uses that energy to grab carbon dioxide from the air and turn it into carbohydrates. That's the food. It's basically stored sunshine. And check this out. This is such a cool way to prove it. If you take a leaf that has both green and white spots on it and test it for starch, look what happens. Only the green parts, the bits with chlorophyll, turn blue-black with iodine. That means starch is there. The white parts? Nothing. No chlorophyll, no photosynthesis, no energy. Simple as that. So that brings us to part two, the great nutritional divide. If autotrophs are the world's makers, then what does that make the rest of us? Well, we're the takers. Let's look at the other side of this whole energy equation. This really shows the fundamental split in the living world. You've got your autotrophs, the self-feeders, on one side, and then you have us, heterotrophs, the other feeders. We can't make our own food. We have to get our energy by eating other living things, whether they're plants or other animals. But not all heterotrophs have the same game plan. Fungi, like mushrooms, do something really cool. They release enzymes outside their bodies to break down food, and then they just absorb the nutrients. Animals, like us, do the opposite. We bring the food inside and break it down in there. And of course, you've got parasites who have a whole other strategy of just living off a host. Okay, part three, your inner food processor. And that brings the whole journey right inside your own body. The moment a piece of food passes your lips, this incredibly sophisticated and amazing internal factory just kicks into gear. First stop, the mouth. Right away, your teeth get to work with the mechanical part, crushing and grinding the food into smaller bits. But at the exact same time, your saliva is kicking off the chemical work. The breakdown starts immediately. And this is where we meet our little biological helpers, enzymes. Think of them as tiny catalysts that make chemical reactions happen way, way faster. Your saliva is loaded with one called salivary amylase, and its job is to immediately start attacking complex starches and breaking them down into simpler sugars. The whole process starts before you even swallow. So from the mouth, food travels down the esophagus and into the stomach. And let me tell you, the stomach is not just some passive holding bag. It is a powerful, muscular mixing chamber that churns and squeezes, making sure every bit of food gets mixed with some really potent digestive juices. And what's in those juices? Well, the stomach wall pumps out three critical things. You've got hydrochloric acid, making everything super acidic. Then you've got an enzyme called pepsin, which loves that acidic environment and starts breaking down proteins. And maybe coolest of all, you've got mucus, which coats the stomach wall so it doesn't digest itself. Pretty smart design, right? After the stomach, we move on to the main event, the small intestine. Don't let the name fool you. This is the longest part of your digestive system, and it is where the final, complete breakdown of our food really happens. Now, the small intestine doesn't go it alone. It has a support team. The liver sends down bile, which neutralizes all that stomach acid and, crucially, goes to work on fats. At the same time, the pancreas sends in its own powerful cocktail of enzymes, like trypsin for proteins and lipase for fats. It's a team effort.
I absolutely love this quote because it paints such a perfect picture. You see, fats show up in these big, lumpy globules, which are tough for enzymes to break down. So bile acts just like soap on a greasy pan. It breaks up those big blobs into tiny little droplets. We call that emulsification. And it gives the lipase enzyme way more surface area to do its job.
So, once everything is broken down, how do we actually get those nutrients into our bodies? The answer is these things called villi. The inside of your small intestine is covered in millions of these tiny finger-like projections. Their whole purpose is to massively, and I mean massively, increase the surface area, making it a super efficient absorption machine.
Which brings us to part 4, the final destination. The food has been broken down, the nutrients have been absorbed. Now for the last step in the journey, getting that energy delivered right where it needs to go. And this is what it all comes down to. All those complex molecules you ate have been totally deconstructed into their simplest forms. Proteins are now amino acids, complex carbohydrates have become simple glucose, and fats are now fatty acids. These are the final products, the tiny fuel molecules that your cells can actually use for energy, for growth, for everything. And that's the whole journey. From a ray of light captured by a plant, to energy stored in your food, through your own amazing internal factory, and finally delivered as fuel to your cells. Every single meal you eat connects you directly to the sun. It's a cosmic process that happens every day, and we barely even think about it. So the next time you sit down to eat, maybe just take a second. How does it change things when you think about that incredible journey? What does that bite of food really mean?